you one thing. This hype train stops for nobody.
Even though I look up to her a lot, I still want to be in her position and be able to beat someone like her. So.
Valentina Shevchenko has ruled women's MMA for years. She has beaten champions, contenders, and legends, building a reputation as one of the most complete fighters the sport has ever seen. But now a new warning has arrived from someone who knows exactly how dangerous Valentina is, Taila Santos.
It is well.
But her limit, like, what's her limit?
Yeah, but look at this. look at Taila.
Taila's right in her face.
Loved it.
All right, we step over here and
Taila Santos. After pushing Shevchenko to the limit in one of the toughest title fights of Valentina's career, Santos reportedly believes there is one woman who could shake the entire division, Dakota Ditcheva. And according to that warning, Dakota may be the fighter who can finally bring chaos to the UFC throne. Taila Santos understands what it means to stand across from Valentina Shevchenko under the brightest lights. She tested the champion with physicality, pressure, and relentless offense, and many fans still debate the result of that fight. Because of that experience, her words carry weight. When someone who nearly dethroned Valentina says Dakota Ditcheva is a serious problem, people listen. This is not random hype. It is recognition from a proven elite fighter who knows championship level when she sees it. Dakota Ditcheva has quickly become one of the most dangerous names outside the UFC. Undefeated, explosive, and brutally effective, she has dominated opponents in PFL with a style built for violence. Her Muay Thai striking is sharp and aggressive, her knees in the clinch are devastating, and her speed creates problems few fighters can solve. She doesn't just win fights, she overwhelms people. Every performance adds more pressure on the UFC because fans are beginning to ask the same question. What happens when Dakota finally enters the octagon? What makes Dakota especially dangerous for Valentina is the style matchup. Shevchenko has always thrived against predictable strikers or opponents she can slowly download over 5 rounds. Dakota is different. She brings awkward rhythm, explosive entries, constant pressure, and finishing instincts. She attacks with intent, not hesitation. That kind of unpredictability can force even the smartest champions into uncomfortable exchanges. Against a younger, hungry striker with confidence and momentum, the margin for error becomes very small. Valentina is still one of the greatest to ever do it, but the aura of invincibility has changed. She was pushed hard by Taila Santos and later lost to Alexa Grasso before reclaiming her spot among the elite. That does not erase her greatness, but it proves she can be tested. Champions eventually face a new generation that doesn't fear them. Dakota Ditcheva looks exactly like that type of threat. Fearless, fresh, and convinced she belongs at the top already. There is also a bigger business angle behind this story. Dakota is one of PFL's brightest stars, while UFC remains the global powerhouse in MMA. If Dakota crossed over and challenged Valentina immediately, it would feel bigger than a title fight. It would be promotion versus promotion, old dynasty versus new blood, champion versus undefeated destroyer. The UFC would gain a fresh star overnight, while PFL would lose one of its most valuable names. That is why this potential
behind your teammate Dakota Ditcheva. First off, what do you think of her performances so far this year?
Oh, she's a killer. She's a killer. She's the future of MMA, and I think that she's only getting better. She's young, she's hungry, she's disciplined, she's motivated. She's got a good head on her shoulders. She's got a great.
This move creates so much attention. Dakota's rise also mirrors what fans want from women's MMA right now. New energy, violent finishes, and crossover star power. She has charisma, highlight knockouts, confidence, and the ability to attract both hardcore and casual audiences. If she
sprinkle on by TKO or KO, I will tell you the confidence that she's going to have now getting up is going to be unbelievable. And there it is.
Beautiful knee from the plum.
And Ditcheva beckons Jenna Bishop back to her feet and goes immediately on the attack. Oh,
Bishop
right hand.
in trouble.
And that does it. First round finish, and Dakota Ditcheva silences.
she entered UFC and beat someone like Valentina, she would instantly become one of the biggest names in the sport. That is why people keep calling her the future before she has even signed. Still, Valentina Shevchenko is no easy target. Her timing, composure, wrestling, kicking game, and championship IQ make her one of the toughest puzzles in MMA history. Dakota would not just be fighting a champion, she would be fighting experience earned through years of title wars. That is what makes the matchup fascinating. Dakota has the tools to threaten her, but Valentina has the mind to punish mistakes. So now the question grows louder. Is Valentina Shevchenko ready for the most dangerous striker she has never faced? Or would Dakota Ditcheva arrive in UFC and shock the world the way Taila Santos warned? One thing is certain, if this fight ever gets made, it won't feel like a normal title defense. It will feel like the arrival of a new era. Stop scrolling right now, because the most dangerous woman in MMA just came back from injury, and she's already sending a message that could shake the entire fight world. Not to a random contender, not to a rising prospect.
The PFL should keep the UFC out of their mouth. They can't even deal with Power Slap. Power Slap has 19.2 million followers. The PFL has 10. PFL Fight Week did 326 million. Power Slap 8 did 690 million. So if you look at PFL, the fight week and the aftermath, these guys had 76. Just the week of, they had 68 million on Power Slap. And we haven't even had a fight yet. PFL's Instagram reel with Francis and Ronaldo did 14 million views. Power Slap's Instagram reel with contender Isaiah had 22 million views. And that was a repost of an old fight. I can keep going on. He sounds like Kamala, talks a lot, but says nothing. I would hate to be one of that guy's investors. He doesn't beat Power Slap in revenue. He doesn't beat Power Slap in ticket sales. He doesn't beat Power Slap in sponsorship. He doesn't beat Power Slap in anything.
But to undefeated phenom Dakota Ditcheva. And after everything that's happened, this might be the super fight fans have been waiting for. After being forced out due to serious neck problems and herniated disc surgery, many fighters would need months to recover. Some would never return at the same level. But Kayla Harrison isn't built like most fighters. Only weeks after surgery, she was already back in training, back on the mats, back in the grind. No excuses. No fear. No hesitation. And when a champion says, "I'm back," that's not just motivation, it's a warning to the entire division. Because people forget who Kayla Harrison really is. She isn't just a champion. She's a two-time Olympic gold medalist in judo, one of the most accomplished athletes to ever step into MMA, and one of the most physically dominant women the sport has ever seen. She smashed through the Professional Fighters League, ragdolled elite opponents, and then entered the Ultimate Fighting Championship carrying the same aura of destruction. She submitted Holly Holm, beat Juliana Pena, and proved that elite wrestling plus championship mentality is a nightmare combination. But while Kayla was recovering, another...
Yeah, Conor McGregor follows me on Twitter. Like, I was told that as well the other day by my brother's friend. So, you know, things like that are like massive.
The storm was building. That storm is Dakota Ditcheva. Fast, explosive, undefeated, dangerous in every second of every round. 15 wins, 0 losses, and a highlight reel full of brutal finishes. Dakota isn't just winning fights.
Salad digging deep for sure. Santos is in big trouble. She's in big trouble.
Dakota Ditcheva to the body again for a championship.
She's making statements. Her Muay Thai striking is sharp, violent, and surgical. Her knees to the body, elbows in close range, and combinations from range have made her one of the most feared women outside the UFC. Every time she steps into the cage, somebody gets hurt. Now imagine those two paths crossing. This isn't just champion versus contender.
You're the next big thing, Dave.
Ander. This is grappler versus striker. Pressure versus precision. Strength versus speed. Legacy versus momentum. Kayla Harrison's style is suffocating. She closes distance, drags opponents into deep water, controls them physically, and drains their will. Once she gets top control, many fighters mentally break before the round.
I'm just like, get me anything, literally. But like you said, you know, it was kind of, it's hard. I get it's hard for PFL, you know, they've put all the girls in the tournament and then now they need to find someone that's going to kind of give me a good competition. They can't give me someone that's, you know, just kind of signed to the PFL and not really had that much experience because it doesn't make sense. I've just beat Santos very easily. I think That's another thing that I have to understand is like if I'd had a 5-round war with Santos, there would have been a few more people in there that would have been more of a match. But
round even ends. But Dakota is a different type of threat. She's long, sharp, unpredictable, and dangerous enough to end a fight before Kayla ever gets a takedown. That means this matchup comes down to one terrifying question. Can Dakota keep it standing? Because if she can, Kayla may be eating the hardest shots of her career. But if Kayla gets inside, grabs hold, and puts hands on Dakota, the undefeated run could be in serious danger. And here's what makes it even scarier. Kayla Harrison is returning with something to prove. Injuries create doubt. Surgery creates questions. Time away creates critics. Fighters with Kayla's mentality don't return politely after that. They come back angry, focused, violent. At the same time, Dakota Ditcheva is entering the prime of her career. She's younger, hungry, full of confidence, and carrying the aura of an undefeated destroyer. She believes she can beat anyone alive, and right now, it's hard to argue with her. So now the whole MMA world is left asking the same question. Is Dakota Ditcheva ready for the most dangerous version of Kayla Harrison we've ever seen? Or is Kayla Harrison about to remind everyone why champions are built different? Because if this fight ever gets signed, it won't just headline a card. It could become one of the biggest women's MMA fights of the modern era. PFL's golden fusion of speed and power, Dakota Ditcheva, delivered one of the most savage finishes in women's MMA when she stepped into the cage against Hasna Gaber. What happened that night wasn't just another win on the record. It became one of those moments that fans still talk about because it showed exactly why Dakota was destined for something bigger. In less than a minute, she
Dakota, superstar. What is up, Tiana? You're the next big thing, Dave. Look what your boss. Great to see it, Tiana. Strong woman, good girl. Fucking awesome. Great to see it. Great to find you. Love it, love it. What's it back? What are we up next? Superstar back there.
Turned a professional fight into a brutal statement. At the PFL playoffs in 2022, Dakota entered the matchup as a dangerous prospect, but many still viewed her as a young talent who needed time to develop. Hasna Gaber was expected to test her, push her, and maybe expose some weaknesses. Instead, Dakota erased every question in only 58 seconds. From the opening exchange, Dakota looked
Back elbow, and now a left hand. And she's
sharper, faster, and more aggressive. She wasted no time reading the range. Leg kicks started landing immediately, forcing Gaber to react. Then Dakota closed the distance with perfect timing and unleashed the strike that changed everything. A devastating knee to the body that folded Gaber instantly. The fight was over almost before it began. There was no comeback, no second round, no dramatic battle. Just total domination. Dakota didn't simply win that night. She announced herself as a future star with one of the nastiest stoppages of her
That's McGregor handpicking his successor. And guess what?
Early career. It was the kind of finish that tells the entire division a new problem has arrived. After the bout, fans exploded online. Many That body knee became more than a finish. It became a signature. A warning shot to every woman in the division that if Dakota gets close, the fight can end instantly. Her mix of Muay Thai precision, speed, athleticism, and timing made her feel different from the average prospect. She looked built for the modern era of MMA. And that's where the real fear begins for top flyweights around the world. Fighters may come in with championship experience, technical skill, or legendary names, but Dakota brings something harder to prepare for: youth, explosiveness, unpredictability, and violence at full speed. She doesn't just score points. She changes careers in seconds. Since then, Dakota has continued proving that the hype was real, taking out rising contenders and respected veterans alike. But many fans still point back to the Hasna Gaber finish as the moment they realized this woman was not normal. So what comes next for Dakota Ditcheva? Does the UFC eventually make the call and bring her into the biggest spotlight in the sport? Or does the PFL keep their most dangerous weapon and continue building around her dominance? One thing is certain. When Dakota Ditcheva is preparing for a fight, opponents aren't just training. They're praying. Who should face Dakota next? Drop your pick in the comments, because this takeover may only be getting started.
Even though I look up to her a lot, I still want to be in her position and be able to beat someone like her. So.
You could fight any female right now. Who would you want to go with?
Valentina Shevchenko.